Are you fucking trying to die tonight, kid? The man yelled, throwing another punch at Jungkook. Jungkook let him hit him, this time wanting the pain. A smirk covers Jungkook's face as he looks up at him after the punch, his mouth bloody. Go ahead and try. He guessed that he made him more angry because another punch is thrown his way. He grabbed his fist and kicked the guy onto the floor, throwing multiple punches onto his fucked up face. Hey, get off him! Jungkook glanced up, seeing 4 more men running towards him. Fuck me, he grumbles under his breath in annoyance before getting up. He moves his hands above his head in defeat while they surround him. You have some nerve being in this part of town. One of them snickers. Jungkook's tongue pokes the side of his cheek as he loses his patience from all the talking. You talk like a bitch, he said, looking straight towards him. A smirk moves onto Jungkook's face at how mad he looked. He grabs Jungkook by his shirt, throwing 2 punches at his face. Jungkook let his head hang to the side, swiping off the blood from his mouth. Punch like 1 too. He laughed, grabbing that man's arm that was moving in for another punch and twisting it behind him before pulling a gun behind his head. Jungkook enjoyed the sound of fear coming from him. The 3 other men now froze on their spot. Don't make me pull this trigger, he whispers next to his ear, pushing the head of the gun further into his head. Fuck man, it's all chill, let's calm down. He stumbled out shakily. Jungkook looked up at the other 3 guys, pointing his head to the side. They get the idea, all stumbling away, and That's when he let go of the bitch to follow his rodents. Fuck, he mumbled under his breath at the sound of police sirens. His bloody hands gripped the steering wheel as he swear past the slow rodents, his foot pushing down on the gas pedal harder. He could feel the thoughts in his head disappear the faster he went. His eyes moved to the side for a second when another car drives up next to him before speeding up ahead of him. Jungkook furrowed his eyebrows together, taking it as a sign they were trying to race him. Clenching his jaw, he sped up, catching up with the car before completely passing it. He threw his keys onto his desk before going into the bathroom. The new cuts on his face bled out onto his face and his hand was all fucked up. He washed the blood off of his hand before grabbing his phone and sitting on the couch in his room. He opens your contact number, changing your name to Heart. For him, the name was too long, it annoyed him. Everyone called you YN. You needed a nickname, one and only he could use. Where are you? He sent a text to you. If you were a maid, you could clean the blood off his face. He didn't want to deal with it. He looks down at his phone, hesitating before downloading Instagram on his phone. He just wanted to check if you had anything suspicious on there, nothing else. What am I doing? Jungkook muttered to himself when he started making fake account. He put the name as Princess Unicorn 7 so it didn't look as suspicious. Finally, he get into the app, going to the search bar and putting in Heart's full name. He stares at the Instagram account, noticing if it's yours. From the profile picture, it was a selfie of your smiling face, your nose scrunched and a bubble being blown onto your face by a woman who looked like your mom. He clicked on the account that had sadly 2 followers, frowning his eyebrows together when the only pictures on there were places One picture was of a flower field filled with tulips. The next one was of a turtle in the ocean, and the third one was some Ferris wheel in an amusement park during sunset. He looks at your bio that reads Ryan's Dream Destinations Diary. Well, none of this was suspicious. His eyes glance back up at the profile picture and he feels himself staring at your picture for too long. After realizing what he was doing, he threw his phone over to the other side of the couch as he leaned his head back, wondering what was taking so long for you to reply to his text. You suck in a breath before knocking on Jungkook's door. Your heart rate increases as your nerves rise. Come in. His usual deep voice mutters, and you chew your lip nervously as you slowly open the door. The room was dimly lit, and you fan your eyebrow over the room until they land on Jungkook, who was leaning back on the couch, his face covered in fresh blood. You stand there, your lips parted in shock at the sight of him. He looked beat up bad. You are all bloody, you said, holding your stuff closer to you as you stay a good distance away. By a good distance, I mean staying near the door. Come here, he said, his eyes were watching you carefully from where you stood. You widen your eyes, pointing to yourself before noticing you was the only one he could be talking to. Swallowing the lump in your throat, you slowly walk up to Jungkook, stopping when you are standing in front of his sat-down frame on the couch. What do you want? You whispered, shifting in your spot at the way he was looking at you. Clean this up for me, he said, pointing to his face. You purse your lips in contemplation, but decided to be the nice one, saying he must have been in pain. You nod your head hesitantly, walking towards the bathroom, where all the first aid kits had been in the same place. You also grab a small cloth, wet it with warm water before preparing yourself for what you have to do. You walk up to Jungkook, whose eyes looked darker than usual as he watched you. Aren't you going to sit? He asks you, and you feel yourself flush red as you look at the spot next to him on the couch. On the couch? You ask nervously. You can come on my lap if you don't want to sit on the couch, Jungkook said, a smirk playing on his face. You feel your entire face heat up at his words before quickly sitting on the couch beside him. No, this is fine, you said, avoiding eye contact with him as you fold the towel smaller. You had to get closer to clean the blood off his face. You looked down at the towel in your hands, taking a deep breath in before looking back up and moving to sit closer to Jungkook. You could feel his burning eyes on you. In every direction you moved as if his eyes had magnets on you. Jungkook's eyes weren't exactly helping your situation as you moved the warm towel up to his face, carefully cleaning the blood on his face. Your face had been only inches from his own. You could nearly hear your loud heartbeat, hoping he couldn't hear it. Jungkook flinched all of a sudden, and you quickly moved the towel away from his face. Sorry, you mumbled before bringing the towel back up and continuing to wipe the blood clean from his face. How did this happen? You still ask, avoiding eye contact with him as you moved to the other side of his face. A little accident, he said lowly, his deep voice sounding closer to you from the close proximity. You got into a lot of those, you muttered, finishing up wiping his wounds with the towel as you opened the first aid kit to get out ointment for the cuts. You'll need to help me more often then, he uttered, and you look up at him through your lashes just for him to notice he was already looking at you. You quickly avert your eyes back. Avert your eyes down to the ointment, putting some on a G-tip before applying it onto the cut. Only this once, you mumble as you apply the ointment over all his cuts. You are about to move your hand down to get more of the ointment, but Jungkook's hand grabs your wrist, preventing you from moving your hand down. You look up at him, your eyes widen as you nervously look into his eyes that gaze down to your lips. Your heart was nearly about to beat out of your chest. It felt like you both only moved closer to each other and you hadn't even noticed. You feel your breath hitch when Jungkook's cold hands move to push a strand of your hair behind your ear, his fingers lingering on your jaw as they left a burning trail on your skin. Do I make you nervous? His voice mumbles near your ear, sending shivers to travel down your body. Your eyes look up at him as you shake your head no. You both knew you was lying though. What kind of feeling was this? Why did you feel like you was on fire? Why did you feel something weird in the pit of your stomach? Why was your heart beating so fast? Your heart beat fast around Jungkook, but this time it felt weird. His lips were inches away from your own. You could feel his minty breath fan across your face, his fingers on your jaw bringing your face closer to his own. What was happening to you? In the back of your head, you wanted him to just move his lips onto yours, but you knew this wasn't okay. This shouldn't be happening. He was dangerous. You are supposed to stay away from him. Jungkook, you whisper out, your breath hitching at both of your distance. Angel, he replied. Before you can even think, you feel Jungkook's lips on yours, your entire body filling with warmth at the sudden contact. No, the sound of your heartbeat only grew louder, and before you could realize it, your lips were moving on their own as you kissed him back. His lips were warm on your own and brought feeling to your body you never felt before. Usually, when someone touched you, you cried or tried to fight them away. But there the case is different. You are going crazy. What you are doing? Before the kiss depends, you quickly push yourself away as you breathe out. Your face flushed red from what just happened and your lips parted in shock. No. You said your fingers was moving up to your lips as you looked at Jungkook who had his eyebrows furrowed. No, he said, watching you carefully. This wasn't supposed to happen. You whispered to yourself, quickly standing up from the couch as you tried to control your watery eyes. You just gave your first kiss to Jungkook, John. What was you thinking? Why did you go against everything you told yourself not to do? Why not? Jungkook asked, watching you as you grab your stuff. You didn't even care about the stupid project anymore. I don't have anything to do with you. You nervously utter out, feeling your eyes water even more. Oh, is it? He said, watching you with amusement. Let's just pretend it never happened. You whisper out. Jungkook raised his brow in amusement. His body leaned back into the couch now and a dark look in his eyes. Cherry chapstick, he said, and you feel yourself flush red, your eyes wide at his bluntness. The last thing you see is Jungkook's small smirk, his eyes swirling with amusement at you before you turn around with your stuff and walk as quickly as you could out of that room. This was bad, really bad. You only had one option left, and that was to completely ignore Jungkook and avoid him. Avoid him every minute and every second of the day. You didn't want to be involved with him and his dangerous weapons. You told yourself that at the beginning, and look what you have done. You feel warm tears fall down your cheeks as you walk out of the room feeling guilty. You tried pushing away the thoughts of how the kiss felt, how his hands made your stomach swell in nervousness, how his lips set a flame in you never even knew existed, how his voice sent shivers through your body. You had to forget it all.